Hello, welcome. This is Tamara with Unboxing the Doll World. I'm going to talk about Creatable World dolls, and I'm going to dive in a little bit about the opinions of these dolls, both good, bad, and neutral. So I won't lie, I didn't dive as much into the bad backlash to these dolls because I feel like it could be construed that a lot of the bad backlash would be those that are against the LGBTQ plus community. And that's what it was. I came across articles that had the title that these dolls were a sin, that they are promoting like against like God's creation of the binary, that just all along that line. So I really wanted to branch out and find constructive, because in my opinion this is not constructive. I wanted constructive opinions about this doll line. So that is the bad backlash. The positive part of this, and obviously not backlash, is that people were excited about these dolls. Like, they thought it was awesome that Mattel, some saying this was like cash grabby, but we're also very happy that they made a doll line that was able to give the children the opportunity to explore gender, which I personally think this is really cool also. It gives children that are already part of the community to explore their identity and their gender. So I think even for people that are not part of the community, or children that are not part of the community, it still gives them a chance to explore diversity in their creation of play. So kind of a middle ground, very constructive criticism or advice to this line was by an article I found by Devin Price on humanparts.medium.com. And his pronouns are he and it, and I'm going to refer to him as he throughout this conversation. But I would say criticism, it's more like advice to Mattel, basically. Like, I like what you did, but you could have expanded more, and this is how. So I'm going to talk about that. So he first starts talking about how like toys are very genderized. Like, they're very much on the binary. Like, even like Legos that used to be very like gender neutral, over time have become very like on the binary. When you go to the toy store, there's boys section and there's girls section. And like, it's, some stores like Target had talked about getting rid of that, but it has not happened. You still go to Target and you still have the defined sections of toys. So a big thing he talks about with these dolls, I first want to point out, these dolls are representative of 7-year-olds. So they're not going to have very distinctive like masculine or feminine features. They're not going to have broad shoulders. They're not going to have defined muscles. They're not going to have defined breasts. These are kids. And as opposed to Barbie, who obviously has this very hourglass figure that's just defines physics, but like, we're just gonna point that out. He really goes on to say though that it does not matter what your physics are, like your body proportions. Like, if you identify as non-binary, you should not be defined if you have big breasts. You should not be defined if you have broad shoulders or defined jaw. Like, you should be able to identify as you are without these specific characteristics defining whether you're male or female. A little bit hard to show within these dolls. These dolls are very like they are very like, they're meant to be like definitely like genderless, but they do like kind of take away these aspects that people that are outside of these body types cannot be non-binary, or if they're like have feminine parts, they can't be male. If they have male parts, they can't be feminine. And this is a whole thing of passing, which I'm going to talk about here in a little bit. But it takes away from identity that we tend to like categorize, and these dolls not allowing to, not what he said, but in my opinion, these dolls should have been Barbie age, where they had these defined figures, or like Ken, Barbie age, whatever, and then created this non-binary, because they could have gone a lot more where they could have been like very broad shoulders but define a little more feminine on the spectrum, or they could have been like very big breasted but could have defined more male on the spectrum, or literally right in the middle. Like, so I think they lost the opportunity by, and I'm glad they like used like younger generation, targeted towards the younger generation, but the younger generation does play with Barbies, which are very defined. So I think they lost the opportunity by not working with very gendered bodies, but putting them outside of their boxes. So, and that's one aspect he talks about, but I'm also expanding on. So, okay, kind of losing my train of thought, but yes, like, I think Mattel should have definitely kept with like Barbie, Ken, in between aspects. He also starts to go into like, because Barbie now has come out with curvier dolls with disabilities. They've come out with this whole range of diversity dolls. I will complain about the curvy dolls. I've read that when you come to the curvy Barbie doll, the size is still 6. I'm a size 18, 20. Like, we need to get even like more representative of different body sizes than a size 6. I digress. But these dolls, these Creatable World dolls, are very slim, and that is not at all representative of non-binary or transgender children or individuals. There exists, I like the term chonky for personally me, because I am heavy set. I like being called chonky, so I'm gonna use the term chonky as talking about those that are a little bit heavier set. So there exists chunkier people. These dolls are all very slim, and I think it takes away from children that are on the like a little bit heavier set, or a little bit, well, heavier set, curvy, chunky, fat, whatever term you want to use to describe yourself. I didn't know that a lot of people, I think fat could be stigmatizing, but some people really like claim the term, so I'm gonna go with that too. But if you're a young child that is non-binary or transgender, or kind of just anywhere in the spectrum that is not strictly female or male, like, if you have a doll that's supposed to represent yourself and they're all these very androgynous, skinny, very, also he talks about very white features that don't span, like, it's just like small lips, certain jawline, like no curves whatsoever. Like, it's hard to like play into like this like how you want to represent yourself. So that was another advice he kind of had to Mattel, was like expanding like the body shapes and the face like molds of these dolls. I won't say he like has advice directly to, but I didn't take this as much as like criticism as much as it really is for something to Mattel to like improve upon. So yeah, so also with that, these dolls are very androgynous, and the clothing also range more on the tomboyish side. Especially the doll I got is way more tomboyish than some of the other dolls or clothing packs you can buy. I hardly would call any of these items feminine. Which is another topic or another aspect he brings about these dolls, is that they veer too much on the masculine, tomboyish, androgynous idea, and don't pay too much into, like, or give enough credit to feminine aspects. And he kind of brings up an idea too that this is a lot to do with, like, because men are preferable and women are really not, which is a big thing in society. And I think Mattel played it a little safe in kind of like veering towards this more masculine aspect than feminine. And this is kind of where I want to talk about passing. So in passing, if you are transitioning from female to male, if you pass very well for male, which I don't like saying, because if you're identified as transgender, you can face stigma, but if you are not identified and you pass as male, you gain privilege. If it's the other way around, you lose privilege. And that was a big thing I learned when I was in my genders class, and I've always found to be an interesting topic, because obviously society is very rigid in terms of like gender ideology, and I was gonna give examples where, like, it's preferable to have, I don't want to say preferable to be male, it's definitely preferable to have male status if you feel like your position is to have that status in life. And it's just, it's not very good for these dolls to lean towards, if you're trying to explore your gender, like leaning so heavily on tomboyish, androgynous, and not really expanding into feminine. And it really does kind of play into this, like, male is preferable, female is not. And when it comes to transgender and non-binary, it becomes that too. Especially like the whole passing concept and going into like transitioning from female to male. So these dolls, I really think, played it too safe into like gender construct and ideology. They really should have like gave more feminine clothing. They really should have gave like more like aspects, as I said, like they really should have gone with like the older doll, like older age dolls, because they really could have like expanded it more onto like body types and gender identity, as opposed to this like very genderless doll, and again leaning more towards like tomboyish. It really does play into a gender construct that especially if you are wanting, like if you're a child that like is wanting to transition into female, I feel like it could be a little, like if you're playing these dolls, it can be a little like confusing, or like not as acceptable into like feminine being as like desired. So that was another aspect where he talked about, and I hope I said it like how he meant to. But that was another aspect where he was talking about. He talks about AMAB. These are terms I don't really know so well, so I didn't want to really talk too much into those terms because I don't want to misuse them. So this is how I gathered from the article. So that was the research I did upon these dolls, the differing opinions of having a non-binary doll. And the article I just talked about, I really enjoyed because they were happy for the dolls, and they were very happy for like transgender and non-binary people and how they were accepting of the dolls. But I took it as like, Mattel, I'm happy. It might be a little cash grabby, but I'm happy you're taking this step. But you can take it way further and definitely more defined, and like definitely more diversity, and just giving way more like acceptance to different body types and how they present themselves, like again being like maybe like more curvy and a little more like feminine like aspects, but definitely giving like a more masculine like presentation if you're in like non-binary, but then like giving more acceptance to especially transitioning from male to female, because I felt like these dolls really did focus too heavily on tomboyish aspects, and I felt like it kind of did take away if a child is transgender and wanting to explore more on the feminine aspect of their identity and transitioning into that part in their life. So I personally love the concept. I think it's a good step, but I personally really would have gone for like the 16-year-old like body types, because it could have gave way more representation. Also, Barbie, please, a size 6. So about the doll I picked, as I talked about the whole like tomboyish, androgynous, a little more shy from the feminine side, I picked a very masculine doll. So I'll just talk about the box first. I'm not gonna dress the doll up in every outfit because that would take too long. It literally says 100+ looks, so we'll be here for very long. So I'm gonna talk about each item individually. But it says, creatable world, all welcome. Create your characters again and again. I really do like this concept. As I said, I was very story based when I was younger, so having a doll that's like considered like a blank slate, and it was really cool. As I said, it all could have been very expanded and create way more diversity, and I hope Mattel does that in the future, or MGA if you want to put your hat in for non-binary genderless style, do that. So I'm very happy that MGA has done LGBTQ plus dolls, especially Roxy and Nebra, but if they want to do non-binary or transgender doll, I would love it. So yes, but here we are. So you have like all the different creatable looks. You flip this open and you get to see all the outfits which doll comes with, and on the back you also have the different types of outfits, like different variation. As I said, this doll does come with a skirt. I just feel like I feel like most of it is very tomboyish in my opinion, where like some of these clothing packs I feel like, or other dolls, come out with like a little more feminine aspects, like variety of color. I won't lie. Very quickly, I hate the concept of like coloring gender. Gender reveal parties are not my thing. The concept of blue is boy and pink is girl is stupid. There's this study, really quickly, I'll just like talk about for a minute. There was a study of a couple that had a child, and they had refused to tell anyone the gender of the child because they wanted the child to form their own identity outside of social constructs. And that means like if the child wanted to wear a skirt but also identify as a boy, they could easily do that. And I think one of the child, they had two they did it with, one of their children identified as a boy, but one of their favorite outfits was this very fluffy skirt. And yeah, like, I hate the concept of gendering. Gendering does give a form of expression on the binary, so, but I feel it can also be very constricting. But the binary is always going to exist, and everyone will exist on the binary in some way. But I don't know, I just hate like being like, oh, it's pink, so it's feminine. It's a skirt, so therefore it's feminine. Like, I don't know, I just personally am like not as much for like gendering clothing, but that's just me, or makeup. But I also know that's how people find their expression on the binaries, so just personally me. So yes. But yeah, this is the back of the box. I love how I transition from that. I don't know if I said something controversial. Please, if I am a huge ally of the LGBTQ plus community. If I do say something that's out of pocket, please educate me. I did the research I could for this video based on the dolls. I also have my own, like, what I've absorbed over the years, especially with my minor and my major. So yes, but I feel like I'm not as knowledgeable in most things, and as I said, over years of being medicated, I had forgotten some things, so based on what I talk about. So please let me know if I do say something wrong or out of pocket. But yeah, so this is again the back of the box. I just want to make sure I have it all in frame. And then this is the front of the box. And now I will take them out of the box and I will talk about their items and the doll. So as I talked about my doll kind of like shying away more from the feminine aspects, I put them in feminine outfit first. I'm first gonna just talk about the doll in general. I feel like the dolls are actually really good quality. They have articulation, and even in the ankles, which is not as common. Like knees and like elbows are pretty common, and wrist, but it was really nice to see it in the ankles also. And yeah, the clothes are pretty well made. They're not like printed on material, which I feel like is my gripe with Barbie, but I'm pretty happy with the quality of the doll. So I'm very happy that Mattel making a gender neutral line went pretty good quality with the dolls and gave them articulation. So yeah, so this is the outfit I had put them in. The jacket is actually really nice and it's got like fluff at the top, which is really soft. And I left the white tank top they were wearing, and I have the camo skirt, which I will arguably say was kind of the only feminine outfit they came with. So, and maybe the sandals, but I could also see more of a masculine aspect of these sandals. So yeah, so if your parents wear heels, I feel like it's almost quintessential of any child to try on heels, and I'm a little disappointed. Like, these are slightly wedged, but since the ankles bend, they should have gave each of these dolls a pair of heels, because I just remember as a child, like, I should say too, I like identify as female as far on the spectrum as possible, like, and so like being like trying on heels when I was younger, like I almost feel like was like a big thing of being like, I feel like a woman. So like I feel like having a pair of heels should have been like something that was added. So yeah, I don't know, even her stories, like, I watched this one YouTuber, he's a straight gentleman, but he talked about how he was like, I tried on my mom's heels one time, I just wanted to see how I could walk in them. So I don't know, I feel like almost every child like tries on a pair of heels if their parents own them. So yeah, but I don't know, they should have had a pair of heels in this. So I don't know how the wigs are for all the dolls because they all come with a wig, but they are outlined with this plastic, which I know makes it easier to mold to the head, but if you're into like BJDs, I really wish they would have gone with like more of a BJD wig, because this hard plastic like will show through. This is my more masculine outfit that I put them in. But honestly, I really would wear a top like this, and I tend to dress a little more on the feminine end. I really like the color scheme of this. I think it's kind of meant to be like a button up, but there's no buttons. But I like the color scheme, the yellow, the blue, the red, the green on the sleeves. I really like it. And they got the yellow little pocket, which is open. And then they got like kind of like acid wash jeans. And then these, I think they're meant to be Vans, yellow Vans. But I like the clothing. For Mattel obviously being Barbie, Barbie is very, even like Ken has been very glamorous in their past, and these outfits are very like day to day. And I won't lie, I don't, a lot of dolls I play with, I kind of like over the top clothing because it's not something I can do in my day to day, especially when I go to work. I have to wear uniform. And so like I have Ainsley in like a full leather outfit. Like I can't wear that every day. So like things like that is what I mean by kind of over the top. This is very basic, and I feel like this could be a little stifling also, because I feel like dolls, I feel like kids try to play dolls to kind of break out of their like normal mode of life, and this doesn't really break it. This is literally like what their parents would pick out for them if they went to the store. And it's, I don't know, I feel like Rainbow High, especially OMG dolls, like they have very like extravagant outfits that I think really build more on like the creative mode of playing with dolls. So these feel kind of plain to me, and I think this is another thing where I feel like Mattel played it a little safe. They really could have gone more extravagant for sure. But this is the other outfit. Last but not least is the rest of the clothes. I do like that these are pretty corresponding outfits, but you really can match them, mix and match too. But I like to match very like precisely my clothing, so I'm really happy that these do match pretty well. Except the shoes are quite different from the orange and silver aesthetic of the clothes. Then they have a red hat with the purple, I guess, goes with the shoes. So they have purple lens sunglasses but silver frames. And I like the metallic shorts. But as I said, this particular one I bought is very overwhelmingly tomboyish, and I think again it gives away from the female aspects, and especially if you're a transgender child that's wanting like transition to female, and you're playing these dolls, like I feel like it could take away from like appreciating the feminine aspect of playing this character. So I don't know, it's just my opinion. I also want to say, like, I'm obviously not non-binary or transgender. I just said I'm very, very feminine. I am very far on the feminine spectrum. But I have people close to me that are non-binary, and I also, like, I really, like, wanted to look up information that was, like, from non-binary perspectives, and so I hope like I presented this well. And I want to know your opinion. As I said, if I did say anything like wrong or out of pocket, please let me know. This is that I'm a huge ally. I'm also part of the LGBTQ plus community. In terms of my orientation, not so much my identity, but my partner is part of the community. So I just want your opinion based on it. I really wanted to do a video that was not just like, look, it's an unboxing and it's fashion. I really wanted to like actually talk about something that I feel like is very important in the doll community, and something that is bringing like more representation of the LGBTQ plus community. So please let me know what you guys think. I did a lot of research before this video, and I was very happy to present the article I did. Please look it up if you're interested, and I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you like it, please leave a like, leave a comment. I will like or reply to your comment. And if you want to see more videos, please subscribe. I am going to roll back on my videos a little bit. I really want to do just unboxings of more rare dolls, or dolls I can really like dive in, like how I did today. I feel like I'm just kind of doing like unboxings that other people are already doing, or I don't want to say there's like no substance, but like it's substance to me, but it may not feel the same to other people. So I really want to do something that's got a little more like opinion and research and like ideas and like based into this stuff. So yes, but I hope to see you for my next video. I'm gonna do a rainbow high ranking of the characters, and I hope you come around for that video. Bye.